Violence, corruption, and enormous sums of money characterize the industry of the illegal drug trade. Although drugs have been there for as long as there have been humans, it is only recently that organized groups of people have formed huge businesses to deal in the manufacture, distribution, and retail sale of illegal drugs. Whether they are small-scale street gangs or multinational drug cartels, all of these organizations profit enormously from the selling of illegal substances. The biggest money is made by the Druglord at the head of these organizations. Some of these guys, from Pabloescobar to El Chapo, are among the world's wealthiest. Here, we'll examine 10 of history's wealthiest drug barons to give you an idea of the magnitude of their fortunes. Drug dealers' financial statements are now difficult to ascertain since dirty money is difficult to track. No one knows for sure how much money these drug lords made or make, so these estimates may not be perfect. Still, they provide a decent approximation. So, for today's video, we brought you our list of the top 10 drug lords of all time. So, be sure to subscribe to our channel for more videos. Number 10. Joaquin El Chapo Guzman Loera. Starting off with Joaquin El Chapo Guzman Loera, the head of the Sinaloa cartel and a Mexican drug lord, is often regarded as the most powerful and infamous drug lord in the world. Joaquin El Chapo Guzman's cartel deals primarily in the export of illegal drugs to the United States, including cocaine, methamphetamine, heroin, and ecstasy. He has escaped from multiple prisons and is worth an estimated $1 billion. El Chapo has been captured and imprisoned multiple times, but he has always managed to break free, most recently in July of this year. He is still at large after tunneling out of a Mexican maximum security jail. Number 9. Griselda Blanco. Following next with an estimated $2 billion in wealth is Griselda Blanco, also known as the Black Widow and the Cocaine Godmother. Griselda was an integral part of the Medellin cartel during the time they were at the height of their power, between the years 1970 and 1980. Griselda's primary places of employment were in New York and Miami. She was involved in the distribution of cocaine throughout the United States. At their peak, her operations in the United States likely generated around $80 million in monthly revenue. Griselda, like many drug lords, drug lady, grew increasingly aggressive and paranoid over the years, and was eventually caught, but the case fell apart. She ultimately met her end in 2012 in a drive-by shooting in the Colombian city of Medellin, after having escaped there and gone into hiding. Number 8. Carlos Lader. Colombian drug kingpin Carlos Lader is often cited as a founding member of the notorious Medellin cartel. Initially, Carlos collaborated with the cartel as the head of an armed guerrilla army that fought against rival organizations in Colombia. In the 1970s, he also bought and ran a small island in the Bahamas that served as a transit hub for cocaine bound for the United States from Colombia. He began intimidating the island's natives, and his guerrilla forces quickly established a de facto dictatorship. His more militarized and extremist actions caused a rift inside his cartel, which the United States eventually exploited to secure his capture and detention. He is being kept at a U.S. maximum security facility at the moment. Number 7. Gilberto and Miguel Orajela. The Cali Cartel, a drug organization based in Colombia and a significant rival of Medellin cartel, was founded and is led by brothers Gilberto and Miguel Orajela. The Cali Cartel, like its rival the Medellin cartel, became popular in Colombia in the 1970s. At first, cannabis was their main cargo for the US market, but they quickly shifted to cocaine. Cali Cartel was more business-oriented and less violent than its rival Medellin cartel, which was at war with the Colombian government. It's estimated that when Gilberto and Miguel were at the height of their fame and success, they were worth a total of $3 billion. Both were ultimately apprehended, extradited to the United States, and are now halfway through 30-year prison terms in supermax facilities. Number 6. Jose Gonzalo Rodriguez Gacha. Together with Pabloescobar, the Ochoa brothers, and Carlos Lader, Colombian drug lord Jose Gonzalo Rodriguez Gacha was a top commander of the Medellin cartel. Rodriguez's humble beginnings led him to a life of crime. The Medellin cartel was formed after he and others relocated to the city. Rodriguez helped establish trafficking networks across South and Latin America and build the labs in the jungles where the cocaine was really produced. Rodriguez diversified his holdings to include ranches and gem mines as the company expanded. Rodriguez was a key figure in orchestrating kidnappings and bombings of police, VIPs, judges, and other members of the Colombian government as part of the government's increased efforts to combat the Medellin cartel. Before he was assassinated in a police raid in 1989, Jose would continue to fight the authorities and avoid arrest. Number 5. Kun Sa. Known as the Opium King, Kun Sa was a military chief in the San Kingdom and a major narcotics trafficker. As the Chinese Civil War ended in the 1960s, Kun Sa went to Burma, where he rose to fame. He initiated the formation of a militia force that would develop into an army defending the Shan state. He later became involved in the opium and heroin trade in Southeast Asia, where he managed manufacturing and distribution. After the United States indicted Kun Sa for his drug enterprise, he turned himself into the Burmese government, in the hopes of avoiding extradition to the United States. After that, he spent the rest of his life in Rangoon without ever being formally imprisoned. Number 4. The Ochoa brothers. Ochoa brothers Jorge, Juan David, and Fabio were among the first members of the Medellin cartel. It made sense for the Ochoa brothers to join up with Escobar, Rodriguez, and others when the Medellin cartel was formed because they were already producing and trafficking cocaine before the cartel was established. It was estimated that they had amassed a net worth of around $6 billion at the height of their operations. Fabio was extradited to the United States while Jorge and Juan David turned themselves in to the Colombian government as their cocaine business collapsed. Number 3. Dawood Ibrahim Kaskar. Dawood Ibrahim Kaskar is the head of the legendary Indian criminal organization known as D Company. Everything from hitmen to narcotics smugglers goes via Dawood's group. It is widely claimed that he orchestrated the bombings in Bombay in 1993, and that he had intimate ties to Al-Qaeda and even Osama bin Laden in his lifetime. Dawood is one of the most wanted criminals in the world and is worth an estimated $6.8 billion. It is uncertain whether he is now in Pakistan or the United Arab Emirates, although these countries are strong candidates. Number 2. Amado Carrillo Fuentes. After having the former boss of the Juarez cartel, Rafael Aguilar Gallardo, assassinated, the Mexican drug lord Amado Carrillo Fuentes took control of the organization. Amado's constant efforts to smuggle cocaine into the United States earned him the nickname the Lord of the Skies. He was able to obtain this nickname thanks to the fleet of 27 Boeing 727 airplanes that he owned. It was previously reported that he had a net worth of $25 billion, making him one of the wealthiest drug lords in history. Amado made the decision to have plastic surgery performed on his face at the time when governments from around the world increased their efforts to capture him. It is believed that he passed away while undergoing the treatment, yet there is a possibility that he is still alive. Number 1. Pablo Escobar. Without a shadow of a doubt, Pablo Escobar was the most notorious and financially successful drug lords in the annals of history. In addition to being one of the wealthiest criminals in history, he was also the primary actor in the Medellin cartel's formation and was the cartel's originator. It was thought that Pablo furnished 80% of the cocaine that was sold in the United States, while he was at the height of his power and the Medellin cartel was making more than $60 million per day during this time. Throughout his lifetime, he was one of the wealthiest individuals in the history of the globe. Throughout the 1970s, 1980s, and 1990s, he engaged in what amounted to a full-scale war against the government of Colombia. Escobar was killed in a raid in 1993, but not before he had left a murky legacy behind him. So, what do you think? Which one of these drug lords do you think was the most notorious? Let us know in the comments down below. See you guys in another video.